Yo, welcome everybody to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to round number 3 for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it is a special one here tonight. It is a 3-tire special, which means that drivers in the feature race, oops, what am I doing here? And we're back. Must use 3 tire compounds, all tire compounds in the feature race, so as opposed to the usual 2-tire rule. So everybody just has to use all 3 tire compounds, and with all the safety cars that we're probably going to get, because we do have another full grid as Forzan rejoined the session, so he'll get in his car shortly, and that is 3 20 full-size grids to start the season, so I want to thank everybody for that, because that's pretty cool to start the season 2020. So yeah, there we have it, and we are in the newly formed Elite Series for round number 3, and as always in Season 17, for the time being, we are both live on the YouTube and the Twitch. We encourage you guys to watch on your preferred platform as drivers start heading out on their outlaps. It is only myself, C Freeze, that will be bringing you guys through tonight's proceedings, because my usual co-commentator of Halberg has some internet issues, so he is out for tonight. He is expected to rejoin us back next week, so we're gonna need everybody's help in the YouTube comments I do have up on the screen. So if you do end up joining, send some comments in, some questions, some predictions. Let's try and make this a good one. It is only myself tonight, so a little bit more laid back here to start the quali session. A lot of the drivers in the Discord have mentioned that they have the Daytona 500 NASCAR qualifying. Actually, you know what? Is Kluka? We might have another co-commentator coming in here. We'll see if you get it. You get him an invite. But yeah, Daytona 500 this Sunday for NASCAR, which is pretty cool. All the motorsports are starting back up, so I got my qualifying set to the right of me. Last week it was Forzan who set another win. Believe he might have had the fastest lap as well, so he took maximum points once again. That last week we were out in Miami. It wasn't a dominant win. He started, I think, 8th, so kind of had to work for it. A little bit opposite strategy, but he fended off Lawrence. We had some debut drivers last week, Beamer NG, who grabbed himself a podium in his first race, his debut last week. He finished P3. FFR Raikkonen goes P4. There's a little bit of controversy as to whether or not which Haas driver got which car and what parts. But it seems like Raikkonen at the moment has the quicker car. 10.6 versus Camden's 10.8. He's down in 7th. He's in the pit lane now. And we're actually going to get his brother, Colby Luca, to join us in the commentary booth. He'll be joining us shortly if everything goes smooth. Canada retired from the session, so that's interesting. Is there an issue with this lobby, possibly? Yep. So we're gonna do a lobby reset here, unfortunately, because apparently there's something wrong with it. So disregard all this, but I think we're gonna stay. I think we're gonna stay up here. As long as the stream doesn't cut out. The Alpines looked good to start it. If anyone's watching right now, if the stream does cut out, we might just restart a new stream. But if not, we're just going to stick in here and wait for the new lobby. So, a couple more minutes. There must have been a connection issue or something, and oh, I think we might get our co-commentator here. Kluka, do we have a copy?
We indeed do.
Awesome. Coming in clutch here as a co-com. I like it.
Of course.
So we are live because we had a lobby reset. So, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see if we get this lobby up shortly. Just gotta make sure the stream's still going. Alright, we're still live, so that's fine. I heard you had the Daytona 500 qualify on too?
I did have it on before I came here. I decided to stop watching it.
Anything happen recently?
No.
Nothing?
Nah, it's just really boring. So did I miss anything through qualifying number one that got kind of restarted or no?
Not really. It was just like the first 6 or 7 minutes or so, and then so we're gonna restart it. Usual people up front. Lawrence, the Alpines look good. A couple others didn't get their bankers in, so we'll try it again. But you had an eventful last night's race, I've seen.
Yeah, I did. It was an event.
It was an event, yeah.
Yeah, it was a race.
It was a race, yeah.
Yeah.
You could plead the fifth, I think, is what they say.
Yep. Yeah, just my average race. Me starting up front, spinning on lap one. Yeah.
So for those just joining, we just had a lobby reset, so we're just gonna jump into qualifying again. Dylan says, definitely want to see where my quali lap would put me in this series. Well, we're gonna find out once we get this thing going, and if you think you want to compete on this series, then you can still sign up, and you can still join it. We have, I think, some full-time seats open. We have a lot of reserve seats open. But we've had 20 full grids, or 3 full grids to start the season, so it's been a good series. If your lap times don't fall into this one, then you can also join the Challenger series, which is on Tuesdays, which is more of a mixed assist class. And we're back in here. Are you in here as well?
I am indeed in here.
Nice, good. Sweet. Alright, look, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. Yeah, this is the Elite Series racing line only. We're more mainly based in North America, as you see most of the flags. But as long as you can race the time that we race, then you can race. So. And I'm pretty sure this was. It's pretty much been Forzan and Lawrence that have been kind of competing with each other. Lawrence, this might be his last race because he has another commitment that starts up next week that he took on before this. So he's going to be more of a reserve driver. So Forzan, looks to be a great favorite to start the season. But we'll see what happens here tonight. 20 drivers are in Canada on a 3-tire special, using all 3 tire compounds in the feature race. Oh, is it, make sure this is clear weather, because otherwise...
It is indeed. I think I already checked. Let me give it another check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Alright, good. Whew. So we should be going any minute here. Oops. Alright, everybody's got the ready up queue, so we're getting in. Oh. Dylan is D-Swish. Okay. In the comments. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I thought we had a new driver. But, I mean, you can reserve an Elite D-Swish as well. I mean, you just gotta use racing line only, so.
I reserved the first 2 races. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty competitive grid this year.
Yeah, that's why I qualified last both times, but it's fine.
Well, what are you expecting here from for the qualifying here? You got 20 drivers. Any favorites? What after racing last night? Any initial thoughts before we start this thing?
There's a couple drivers I'm looking at. I'm looking at Professional. He's had good pace this season, I've seen.
Okay.
Obviously Lawrence, Forceland. I'm looking at Silent as well. Silent showed pretty good pace.
Yeah, Silent missed last week because he was tired. So he kind of used now. I might just do a semi-intro here, for those who might just be tuning in. We just had a lobby reset. This is round 3 for the Canadian Grand Prix here in the Elite Series. We have a 3-tire special here tonight for the feature race, and we're in Season 17. This is TCR's top class for the Elite Series. You can find out more about TCR in the description down below. We have our website, merch, sign-ups, Discord, everything TCR at Trinity Racing. There was no podcast this week, but next episode, we will be going through all of the car liveries because I think all of them will be released by then. And I think they maybe already are.
I think they're still missing Red Bull.
Red Bull, okay. Well, Red Bull's, what's it going to look like a Red? It's going to look like a Red Bull. That's an easy one. So yeah, and then as far as the way we do our points, we're doing we're counting drivers' best 12 race results throughout the season out of 14. So you basically get 2 throwaway races, and Silent pretty much used up the first 2 in the first 2 races because he scored a couple points in the sprint race to start the season. He DNF'd in the feature, and then he missed round 2. So he doesn't have that many points to his name. Now he's here for round 3, and he is quick here. I'm pretty sure he had the pole last time we were here at Canada, formerly known in the Platinum class, and I remember that because he marginally got the pole over, I believe it was the main Wayne, who was a Golden class reserve for the Platinum class, so he barely got that lap time. So Silent's pretty quick around here. I'm on board with Beamer, just set a purple first sector, so he's probably one of the first few on the lap anyway, but he's been quick too. His first race last week got himself a podium in his debut, and I expect him to be running up in the top portions for tonight.
Yeah, Lawrence better set a lap right here. I've been watching him.
Beamer coming through Wall of Champions. Puts it P2 10.6. Not too bad, could be better. GTR Lion coming on the back stretch here. About to set a lap time. Oh, big wobbly off the exit there. Catches it narrowly into the wall and still good enough for second, but he lost a lot of time.
Yeah, it was still a really fast lap for almost losing her right there. He'll gain probably 3 or 4 tenths back easily off that final corner on another lap.
Here's your guy, Silent, finishing up a lap here. Let's see what he can do. What's up, Apparatus? I see you in the comments. Long time no see. He says, have all the races had full quali? No, they're actually short qualifying. So it does say Q1 on the top left, but even if you do a short quali, it does say Q1. It doesn't say like short qualifying. So the reason we've been a little later, we had a little lobby reset. So yeah, just the one short qualifying. As Silent goes P2.
It would be nice if it showed us like everyone's like sector time. That'd be really nice. Wish they had that for F124.
Yeah, I think right on the top right, you see the timing and scoring. You like when you're on the person's name.
Yeah, no, but I mean like everyone's like how you are like a driver. You have like the entire list of them. It's really helpful when you have that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're saying as a driver, like when
Yeah, when you're inside the garage, you can see the list of everyone's sector times.
So you think
they should have that for spectators? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm saying, they should add it on the top right there. Like, you see,
Oh yeah,
underneath they should do
yeah.
like sector 1, 2, 3. They should keep it there, you know.
Professional purple sector 1. See if he can set up again for purple sector 2. He does.
Professional had a podium to start the season. He narrowly missed out one last week. He's pretty good at Canada, and it's one of those tracks where corner cutting is a big issue, and Professional usually is pretty clean on those, and he's pretty quick too. A third place there. His teammate finishes just ahead of him, P3. We have Forzan out on a lap. He's still through sector 2. The hairpin does have a purple middle sector.
Yeah, that's a really rapid second sector there. That's the fastest I've seen anybody by decent margin.
Has a little bit of traffic out up front. That's going to be... Oh, and he gets blocked.
Oh.
That's going to be a penalty, too. By who is that in front of him?
That's my teammate in the Challenger Series.
Pilot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big... He was getting ready to start his lap time, but he should have saw a quick Alfa Romeo closing in his mirrors, and he probably should have moved over, let him by, and then start his lap time. So Forzan probably is not too pleased with that, I would probably say.
Alright, the main question is how many people are going to hit the wall of champions today, would you say?
I think a lot of people will hit it, but how many will DNF from it? How many people will crash out? I think almost every driver will tap the wall of champions. At least once.
Last night was relatively clean. Not that many people hit it. Just, yeah, they hit every other wall on the track.
Here's a lap record that, you know, since we do these qualifying lap records, here's a record that Seafreeze quite likes, and possibly because I might be holding it. The TCR qualifying lap record is a 107.757, which is not going to get beaten with these cars.
I don't think, like that's ever going to get beaten.
And it's held by none other than Seafreeze, Season 9 of the Platinum class. So, Season 9, that's quite a way. We're in Season 17, so... You know, I was quick back in the day, Kluka, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot faster than Alan would be.
Yeah, it's going to take... I don't know if F1 will ever be that quick again on track. Those 2020, 2019 cars, those type of era of a car was rapid.
They were
so
crazy
much downforce. Those cars around, let's say, you know, high downforce tracks, you know, they're going to set a lot of lap records, but those cars at like a Monza, let's say, because of all the downforce, these cars could probably still get quicker lap times, but like Canada, a lot of downforce through the corners, or some other tracks where you need a lot of downforce. Those 2020, even the 1921 cars, kind of that era, really quick.
Yeah, I'm looking at the race lap record too. It's really fast too by Passas and 109.4, which that's what Lawrence has for his qualifying lap right now. I don't see that getting broken either.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Forzan was able to get a lap. He's in second with a 9.6. Right ahead of his teammate Rockstar to the line. Marginal improvement to 11th. Sir Charles has a valid lap time. Dirt Shark, first lap time on the board, goes 18th. Not a good lap time. Remsley still in the pit lane, which is kind of unfortunate because before this lobby reset, he had a pretty nice banker into the 109s. So he's playing a little catch-up here with 6 minutes left, and he's going out now. So if he gets a lap time, this might be his only lap.
I think it's probably
time.
his only lap.
Yeah, unless he invalidates it, then he could come into the pits and then set one right at the end. But then you really have to nail it.
Yeah, I never understood coming out this time. If you're gonna come out for one lap, do it like at the very end. I wouldn't do it like at this time.
He might catch a lot of traffic too, because by the time he gets back around, all the drivers will be probably start exiting for their final laps. He might get lucky with the timing here, but yeah, unusual. I agree. I always like, if you're gonna only set one lap time, you might as well go the latest you could or close to the end. Get that track evolution.
There's one thing I'm seeing though. There's a massive gap between the top 3 and P4. It's pretty marginal.
Oh, and Jose just improves it.
Oh, never mind.
He joins the 109 club. You might see 2 or 3 more people into the 109s. We'll see if Beamer, GT, Professional can improve into the 109s. You still have Remsley, who did it before we had the lobby reset.
I can see GTR Lion doing it too. On his lap, he almost lost it off the Wall of Champions chicane, so he could definitely get in there.
Yeah, a lot of time left to gain right at the end of the lap. Kim and Luca, currently P8, got some points last week, and he's coming into pit lane. He'll get some new tires.
There's one thing that's interesting though. Beamer NG's been on these tires for 4 laps. Now he's coming in. That's an interesting strategy.
I wanted to look at Remsley here because he did time it pretty nicely. He's going to have a clean track all to himself, and he's going into the hairpin now.
Lawrence just going to dive into the pits. He's going to abandon his lap.
Now, he has an opportunity. Remsley, does he come in or does he finish the lap? He comes in. I was going to say,
yeah.
He could have finished it if he thought it was a strong lap, but if he was iffy about it, he thought maybe I could do better, or maybe he had an issue. Yep, come on in, get some new tires, and go out for one final attack. But to be honest, I don't really think it matters too much where you start this race, as KD goes third and to the 109s.
Really nice lap. Purple sector 3 right there. He had a really nice chicane right there. Comes to the line. Yeah, I think this is where we see the mob of cars start to roll out the pits.
Oh yeah, and it's getting led by, is that Raikkonen? McLaren just finishing, or starting his lap time. GTM Whisper.
Pit road is busy right now. That is a whole lot of cars. There's one thing I want to point out. Dirt Shark is on the track right now in the medium compound. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the 3-tire special, so maybe he's just saving some tires.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense to use a medium set, so you're not going to qualify up too high. I guess he's saving a set of softs, possibly.
But you aren't going to improve that much on a medium set, so at that point, just
Yeah.
probably stay in. Yeah. Who's on lap?
Well, I'm saying I don't really think it matters too much where you start this race because I think it's going to be a crazy one
Oh yeah, for sure.
with
You
safety
saw F1
cars and.
Yeah, you saw F1 Nerd last night come from last to finish P2, so it really doesn't matter.
Lawrence is trying to starting his final lap time here. 2 runner-up finishes to Forzan. A pole position will help him try and beat him this week. And first sector I love in Canada. It's really
so smooth.
You really got to be on it.
I think we had a DNF on track up here. Yeah, we did.
That is Pilot in the Williams. So your teammate. A little wide through the hairpin, almost hits the wall. I wouldn't say that's the preferred line. I think he went deep. Wall of Champions really sends it nice through there. That's where you pick up the time, and he's gonna do it.
Oh,
9.2.
Porcelain's faster now. He's up by 2/10. Let's see if he can improve right here.
He has a driver ahead of him that's going to be FND Cakes, but that should be clear. He's way down the road. This time, he won't get blocked through the final chicane here. All he has to do is spot it, and he does. Oh, a little tank slapper in the end. He's going to lose some time. But how much did he lose?
Ooh.
He's going to go
P2,
9.5. His teammate right behind him. Professional finishing his lap time here. He's currently 8th with a 10.3. We have 6 drivers into the 9s. Can Professional join that? He invalidates it, and that is over for him. How about his teammate? Can he improve on his position? Eight to the line, does not improve.
Practically ties a lap. That's it for laps.
Everybody, yeah. So Lawrence takes a pole position at 9.2. And Seafreeze's record still stands. At least I got something going for me.
I think it's faster than all the laps in time trial, like every single lap in this game in time trial.
Yeah. Yeah, should be. Alright, big shocker here, Remsley, P20. He chose to go into the pit lane on that one of those laps to set himself up for the final run, but then he got a disconnection. So maybe he would have been better off finishing the lap time there. But up front, those are your heavy hitters, and the top 8, maybe 9, are probably the quickest drivers here on the grids, apart from Remsley, I would say. So all the heavy hitters up front, big gaps between, you have the top 6 and the 109s. And then everybody, you look back at GT, a full second off of Lawrence. So Lawrence setting himself apart. You go back down, and the whole grid, 2.6 seconds.
Pretty fast lap from Pilot right there.
Who else is reserving here tonight? F1 Nerd. And Pilot are the only 2 from the Challenger Series. Prada says in the comments, who do you think will win? And that is what we're going to figure out right now, because it is prediction time. Those watching, leave your top 3 predictions in the comments down below. First, second, and third. Kluka, what do we feel?
No, don't put me in the spot like this. Oh, man.
I always let my guests go first.
Alright, so I'm thinking win tonight. I'm going Forzan. He's swept all the races so far. He's got the sprint win at Mexico, past week at Miami. I think he's going to repeat that. P2, I got Lawrence. It'll be close between those two. And I'll go, like, kind of wild card, not really, for P3, GTR Lion.
GTR Lion, nice. This one's a little bit more tricky because of I think that the corner cut time penalties will come into factor, and I do think Forzan is probably the quickest driver race pace wise. I think he does still have the edge over Lawrence, although it's yet to be proven. But I think he's going to get some time penalties, possibly that could be his one Achilles heel, so to speak. So I do have Lawrence for the win. This is, like he said, it's his last race that he knows he can attend. The rest of the season is tentative due to other commitments. So I think Lawrence will go out strong. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do the whole season full time, but it's been nice seeing him for the first few. Hopefully we see him more throughout when he can, but I do think he'll grab the win. Lawrence will grab P1. I like Silent for P2. I think the first 2 rounds were a little bit of an outlier for him, and I think Canada, he usually is pretty handy around, so I think he'll grab P2. And I suppose Forzan will be P3, but I could see him having some issues to where either he could have a DNF, he could have time penalties, or he could sneak off the podium and somebody else can have it. But I think, as what I've seen so far, I'll put him P3.
So you never know what's going to happen in turn 1 here. Turn 1's always chaos.
Yeah. And if you go back to round 1, lap 1, turn 1, Silent, well, it wasn't actually turn 1, it was turn 3, Silent, to start the season, got spun by Camden, and he went down the pack, and that's kind of why he DNF'd. So, yeah, like you said, anything could happen.
Alright, let's see what people are running for tires. Okay, so we got a really wide variety.
Let's see this. Oh, yes. And Lawrence kind of did this last week, even though we didn't have a 3-tire special. He started on the soft tire. And that gave Forzan kind of the tire advantage for the rest of the race.
Yeah, but I like where he is right now. He has 2 drivers behind him on the hard compound. I think that he'll be able to pull away right here pretty easily. These softs.
Yeah. And I guess that's bad news for the Alfa Romeos, because they're going to be on a slow, hard tire, and they're going to get pressure from, KD, Beamer, Jose, even GT on the mediums. A safe bet. So, could put them into more trouble to start this race. So just a reminder, everybody tuning in, it's a 3-tire special. All drivers have to use all 3 tire compounds in this race particularly. You can't pit on the final lap to satisfy that rule. You can't pit twice under a full course safety car, but I would say don't overthink it. It's keep it simple, stupid. It's stupid simple. And everybody should be all right. as the lights start to tick on here. Whenever they decide to start doing that.
I was thinking the same thing.
There we go. Finally. We're here for round 3, the Canadian Grand Prix 3-tire special in the Elite Series. Let's do it. Lawrence gets a great start. Forzan does not. The Mercedes of Jose almost going onto the grass. Actually, he did to try to get past him, but he was unable to do it. Silent followed by Beamer. Forzan down to 4th.
3 wide at the back.
Yeah, as everybody else following through. No major incidents so far as we finish Sector 1. Farther back, we have Ferrari of Giggle and Remsley making up places starting from P20th up to 15th. As this mid-pack is very close and tight, as there maybe a little too much, a little tap from Whisper, and the Ferrari of Giggle sends Whisper down to 19th. Up front here, Jose and GTR Lions side by side.
Around goes Zionical.
Yes, he did.
Zionical around the back.
Did he get any help, or was it a single spin?
I couldn't see, but there's one thing I want to point out. Remsley up 7 spots through lap 1. That's a lot.
Jose and GTR Lions side by side again. Jose gets the position. He's got those soft tires. He's got 2 Alphas in front of him. Actually 4 if you count the Alpha Tauris.
Wow, already.
Yeah, they're going to start coming in. Time penalties. We're going to get lots of them. Rockstar in the Aston Martin. Closing in on Professional. Goes around the outside. Nice move as Professional on these hard tires struggling to start this race. But I guess the good thing is he's going a little long into this race. He's getting the worst tire out of the way.
Question is, do you see any of the drivers in the mediums coming into the pits soon to put on the softs, and then they can go to the, run the softs to about lap 12 or so, then run the hards to the end? I could potentially see that out of any of the medium runners. Could see that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I could maybe see that, but I really think it's just about waiting for a safety car and kind of using that for everybody's play. Because we have a full grid, lots of laps here too. You're going a lot of times around this place, 35 rotations at Canada, so it's not like you're doing 22 at like a Spa or 27, 28 at some other tracks. You're going around here a lot of times, and it's more of a chance that something's going to happen.
Track's really tight too. There's no forgiveness at all.
Yeah, so I think you just kind of play it out, take the tire to its maximum of what you can get out of it, You don't want to push it past to where you're losing time, but you want to get the most out of the tire. So if the softs are good for 5, 6, 7 laps, whatever it is, you take it to that limit, then put on the next tire. Or just wait, until this race starts to settle in here.
Forzan with the overtake heading into the Wall of Champions chicane. Have DRS going out of there. He should pull away a decent amount.
Pretty sure he tapped the Wall of Champions as well.
Yeah. That'll happen a lot today.
Remsley and FND through turns 2. FND will get it, but Remsley has some nice traction as we get a nice helicopter view, and Remsley up a position. He's definitely the biggest mover so far. He's got his work cut out for him, but he's going to get up there.
Ooh, Giggle. A little bit of a moment right there.
little bit of a gap, so we have Lawrence out in front by 4 seconds. Then it's Forzan who leads Beamer, Silent, and Jose. A little 4-car pack. 2.5 seconds back to KD, GTR Lion, and Camden Luca. Pilots just a second off of them. But no doubt, Pilot does have the biggest pack, I would say, from Pilot all the way down to F&D. And then another one from 14th on down. The 2 Ferraris lead it, 14th and 15th, Giggle and Dirt Shark. Oh, we got a spin here, and that is Whisper. He keeps it moving, but he does tap the wall. He might have a little bit of wing damage. It doesn't look like it, but he did hit the wall.
He's had a long race already, and it's only lap 5. He's got a lot of time to turn back around, though.
He's drifting it through the hairpin. That means his tires are nice and toasty.
Oh, Dirt Shark.
Here we go. Professional hits Rockstar, and he sends him around.
Ooh.
He gives him the position, so he does lose a little bit of time. Both of the drivers do. They lose a few positions, but at least it wasn't a full spin. I don't know if it's because of the hard tire, but Professional looks very off the pace, and it probably does have to do with him being on the hard tire, everybody else around him on the quicker stuff.
Oh! Someone around up here, that's Jose.
His
oh.
teammate, yeah. Both Mercedes now, 12, 13. And Jose was in a good position in the top 5. He had some good pace there, but those softs were falling off, I guess. And
was Ionical now around? Yeah, tough day for the McLaren so far, P19, P20.
KD, first one to pit in the top portion.
And he's on the hards. Adding on to you with the hard tire compound with Professional, I did run on the hards yesterday, and they were not great.
I think later on in the race, when the fuel starts to come down, they're a decent race tire, but when you're up against softs and mediums,
they just don't have any pace at all.
Yeah, especially when everybody's starting basically at the starting grid. You know, it's not like a safety car restart where you have a little bit of a gap, single file. It's 2 by 2 by 2 to start the race. It could be hard to get rid of them.
But Remsley is up 13 spots in the start already. That is unbelievable.
Keeps picking them off, and he's got Camden in front of him. He's got DRS. Gets a good run out of here. He could make a spot into turn 1.
He's going to try it.
Nice and easy. Just like that, he's
F1
with
nerd
his
now.
Teammate right behind him.
5 drivers in the first 8 laps have time penalties already.
Pilot had a huge moment. Keeps it out of the wall. Nice save. Oh, Silent goes deep into the brakes. I think there was a little bit of a lag there. I don't know if he tapped the back of Beamer or if it was just on my screen here, but Whew.
No, it happened on my screen too. I think just lobby lag at this point. Oh yeah.
Oh, he's drifting it.
Oh! What a save right there. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Well, you can't say he wasn't pushing.
Oh, virtual safety car for what?
Was it Pilot? Was it Giggle?
No, he was speeding in the pits. That's just a phantom safety car, I think.
Interesting. So a few people might take advantage of it. Pilot, Charles, Dirt Shark into the pits.
Let me see if I can find anyone that has any wing damage. I see all front wings are still intact. The one issue is, though, pitting here. I think the only person that could probably pit safely here is Lawrence, because of the... I think we're going to be going off the VSC soon, which we are now.
Yep, we're back green here. Just a local yellow. Zynicle's out of the race.
I think he DNF'd in the pits. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He retired in the pits.
Interesting. He's last season's Silver Class champion. Season 16. He hasn't really had the best start to Season 17 here in the Elite Series. I do think he'll be racing in the Super Formula iRacing Series, which is tomorrow. We're at Monza. We don't think it'll be streamed, so if you're in the Discord, you can look out for drivers' point of views if you want to look at if any specific driver is streaming it on their channel. But we do not have a commentator yet lined up for the Super Formula Series. Are about around 10, maybe a little under 10 or so drivers that'll be out there tomorrow. Super Formula at Monza on iRacing. So if anybody knows any iRacing drivers who want to join Super Formula or any commentators, you can still sign up for that. Those are Thursdays, and like I said, once we find a commentator or maybe tracks that I own, we will start streaming it now and then on Thursdays.
There's one thing I've been watching with Silent. Every single time he's coming through that hairpin, every single lap, like everywhere really on the track, he's getting really loose. I mean, his car has been really on edge.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks you can't really use a time trial setup and then put it in the race. This one will eat at your tires, temperature, tire wear, the overall feeling of the car through the corners. You don't want a car that's too loose through the corners here, like a time trial setup would want. A very oversteery setup, because once the tire wear, tire temperatures start to play a factor. That's when you'll start to see the sliding. And once the car starts sliding, it's almost like an exponential graph that goes up, because the more you slide, the car, and it just keeps going more and more each corner.
Yeah, we'll see that again next week too at Qatar. Qatar is just known for just murdering tires.
Just like FND through that hairpin, sliding it around that hairpin. And at Canada here, all the corners are the same. They're all chicanes, besides the hairpin, really. So,
Whole load of people coming in right now.
KD gets a run on Raikkonen. He pitted earlier in this race, so he switched onto the hard tires. Trying to work on that undercut.
There's one thing you always got to watch out here for is people coming out of the pits and people that are already on the racetrack. It's bound to have an incident through there.
Yeah, it's one of those tight mergers. Remsley gets a nice run on his teammate. He's going to slot in line, but they got Giggle up ahead.
There is a massive DRS train right now, all the way from KD back to Remsley.
GT goes defensive on his teammate. Remsley gets the DRS and a little bit of slipstream from the Ferrari. Gets past GTR line. Will he send it down? And World Champions know he thinks better of it. They'll get a nice run though, absolutely. And he'll get Giggle on the straightaway here, so he's up to 8th. As a driver who's had some back of the grids or some poor qualifyings, starting P20th. Oh, and he disconnects from the session once again. I was just about to say, these are sometimes one of the funner races that I've had, is starting from the back and just passing everybody like you just have everything over everybody else, and you just keep fighting, keep clawing your way up throughout the race. Some of those are commentator's curse. Yeah, and I did do that to him.
Oh, his AI is going to pass Raikkonen.
And Raikkonen's in the Freeze Foundation, and I'm not a happy camper.
There's one thing I like to point out, too. Pilot right now is in P6 on a relatively fresh set of hards. He's looking really good so far.
Giggle speeding in the pit lane. Jose on Sir Charles. Charles defends nicely.
F and DK's going for the overtake right here.
He gets it over to Raikkonen. He's got 2 Haas's behind him. Raikkonen lets Camden go. Got lots of battery. 70% does Camden. Lawrence is into the pit lane. We'll see where he comes back out, and it's going to be in first position. So he did that nicely. He started first on the soft tires. He got himself a gap. He made sure he had a big enough gap to when he pit, he still came out in front. So now he leads this race around 3 seconds over his teammate of the day, which is Beamer, followed by Forzan and Silent. You know, I think 15 laps into this race, I think I might have to commentators curse the grid. It's been a little too calm, don't you think, Kluka? Yeah. I think we might need a safety car, a DNF, you know, a little bit of chaos to start our evening here.
Yeah, of course the one race I don't race is really calm and tame. Yeah.
Oh, that might be a correlation. It might be you. I might just put my feet up on the desk here, as I actually am. Sit back and relax. Now, I will say, props to everybody who's still in this race. There's some penalties coming in, but apart from that, the racing's been clean, and not many spins, not many incidents. Everybody's kind of has their front wings still intact. Like, looks good out there. A little bit of gaps. I mean, this is one of the more technical tracks, so you're going to see, you know, like the gaps we have, especially since it's been green for 16 laps, apart from the VSC.
I think the reason why we're seeing so many time penalties too is the fact that we've been green for so long. I mean, it's half the grid now. Over half the grid has time penalties now.
And it's even amazing, like the top 5, they're able to go at the speed that they've been running at all race, and which is quicker around the track, and they're still penalty free for the time being. So props to them, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then from Camden all the way down to almost Dirt Shark is the rest of the grid. Everybody else is on this portion of the track, the back straightaway. FND gets Camden.
Do you know what I'm really looking at right now? I'm really looking at Forzan. Forzan still has to put on the soft compound tires, but he's gaining on Lawrence, and Lawrence has put on the mediums next stop. So if this goes green to the end, we could see a Forzan win.
Yeah, I mean, last week, Forzan was able to get the tire advantage because it was almost very similar. Lawrence started on the soft tire, and he ended on more of I think he ended on the hard tire, so this time he went to the hards in the middle stint. So, a little bit different. But, yeah, Forzan will have the soft tires, whereas Lawrence will have the mediums in the final stint. And the good thing about Forzan is he can go as long as he wants, and if there's a late race safety car, the soft is the best tire to be on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If that happens to Lawrence, then he's putting on a medium set tire on a safety car restart if it's late. Now, if it comes out anywhere from now to lap 27, then maybe the medium would be better. But we're talking 10 more laps into this, then it would start.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, Forzan could run these to probably lap 30, lap 30, 31, 32, honestly, with these mediums. He can go as long as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, he could probably go to the end of the race if he had to. Obviously can't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. We'll see what Professional and Jose can do, because these two are way too quick to be 12th and 13th all race. So, I know they start on, at least Professional start on the hards, but he is on the mediums tire now. But now he's back and stuck in this train, which I would say, strategy-wise, did not work out so far for him, as Beamer gets overtaken by Simon.
Actually, looking at it right now, Lawrence has been pulling away from Forza in the past 2 or 3 laps.
That's up to 2.5. Yeah, about relatively the same amount of battery. I will say a little shout out to KD. Nice solid drive, good qualifying. He's in the top 5 right now, and he is kind of at the lead pack of everybody else, and they usually call it best of the rest, right? So, and I think he is kind of leading it today. Obviously, GTR Lion or Remsley, Jose Professional, they can kind of lead that too. But today it's KD.
Yeah, he's been very rapid this season so far. And I saw. There is one reoccurring theme I'm seeing with most of the drivers, the fact that not that many drivers have ERS. There's very few that have above 50%.
One of them is Camden, who's got 59. He might want to use a little bit because Rockstar's about to pass him. And too late. Already did.
The one thing I've seen too, it's incredibly hard to recharge your ERS back too. So I mean, it could be why all the drivers have like none. Ooh.
Dirt Shark gets past Sir Charles Jose in for another pit stop
Ooh.
as KD gets his first penalty, which will hurt him just a little bit. GT still clean. Sitting in 7th, but he's got a few positions ahead of him. If he stays clean, he could either get it via penalties or he can get it outright on track.
That's one thing I've always liked about him is he's been always really clean on the track. He like never gets time penalties.
Yeah, he usually is never in incidents, and he's never really gets time penalties either. Very consistent, respectful driver. TCR veteran, a Hall of Famer. GTR line.
I think it's where we're going to see a lot of drivers come down into the pits that are on the hard compounds and need to go to the mediums. Yeah.
Good call. Two takers, Beamer and KD. And the longer this race goes green, the longer the gaps are. So now that you're pitting, like KD and Beamer just did, you're coming out not really in a big pack of a train. So you can kind of clip one of these drivers off and off with the DRS as he comes side by side with Sir Charles. Oh, and he kind of had to back out of it. Otherwise, they could have been tangled and into the wall.
GTR line for P4. He'll get that with ease. He has a ton of ERS he can use.
KD's using battery. He'll get Sir Charles on this mid straightaway here. He sets Dirt Shark up quite nicely. He'll have the DRS.
I'm really surprised we haven't had a DNF yet, like an on-track DNF. We're 23 laps into this thing.
That's pretty remarkable. Like I said, props to everybody. This is what I would like to see from our Elite Series. We want drivers who can race, you know. When you get these green flag runs, you're going to have gaps and good racing all around, but it's respectful racing through the most part.
There's one thing though, there's only 2 drivers outside the top 5 that don't have time penalties right now, and that is Sir Charles and Raikkonen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just take a look at the penalties. 5, 3, 6, a lot of 3-second time penalties. Giggle has 8 because he sped in the pit lane. F1 Nerd's got 2, so he's got 6 in total. Beamer gets GTR Lion. Just pitted recently with KD, so he's got fresh mediums for this stint.
It's one thing I usually see with drivers that's a big mistake. Whenever they get a 3-second time penalty, they tend to go a little bit more careless because they have 3 more warnings to use, and all of a sudden they're at 6 seconds. It's, yeah.
I've always used those kind of towards the end of the race, right? If you're going for a win or for a podium, if you have a couple warnings to spare, who's to say, you cut a little bit here to gain a little bit more to where you can set up an overtake. I mean, it's technically legal, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you
Nothing
can't
in the
cut
rules
it.
saying you can't.
You can't cut the corner remarkably, because then you'll get a time penalty, straight out time penalty. But if you cut it just a little bit, you'll get a warning. But yeah, psychologically, you're right. Top two are in the pits, Lawrence and Forzan. They're both going to go on opposite tires. Lawrence will opt for the mediums. Forzan will put on those bright red soft tires. Woo-wee. This is a little earlier than I expected Forzan to pit. But we'll see what he can do. It's a 3.5 second gap to Lawrence.
I think when Forzan saw Lawrence pit, he just had to take the advantage, because if Lawrence would have had a tire advantage over him, he would have gained too much time on him.
GT pitted. He came out in 10th, right ahead of Sir Charles. Pilot and Remsley back here in 14-15. Raikkonen coming out of the pit lane. He'll be in a lonely 18th. We did the 3-tire special last season, and in the Platinum class, a debut driver actually won the race, but he got disqualified because he didn't know we had a 3-tire special going on. So
who was it that won that race?
That was Vamu. He did a few races and left. It was his first season. I think he joined the day of or the day before. Wasn't aware of that rule, and I guess that's why he won. He did one less pit stop, right?
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. But you know what? If I'm a driver who's never, I mean, I'm not giving anybody ideas, but at the same time, I might.
Oh, F1 nerd! Oh, no. Was that on track?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I thought that was on track. That's
No. He was kind of back there the whole race as a reserve. He did his part, and he probably thinks he can't get any points. So Ramsey gets Rockstar. But if I was a driver that finished towards the back almost every race, and we did one of these 3-tire specials, I'm not saying to do it, but I mean, if you do it, you do it. But if you do one less tire pit stop, and you technically win on track, at least you can say, hey, you know, I won the race.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, maybe the commentators won't know that you did one less pit stop. You might have the whole post-race interviews. You can at least
Yeah, get an interview.
at least have the moment, you know. If you've never been on the podium, you've never won a race. I mean,
At the moment for at least, what, an hour?
yeah, and then until B-Tom looks through the rule book.
It's like, wait, you can't do that. There's one thing I gotta say, though. Forzan is gaining fast. He's gained over a second in the last 2 laps.
Hey, and you can see him too, so once that gap starts to come one direction, it's very hard to bring it back the other way. Cyanical said he had rear wing damage, is why he retired in pit lane.
Oh, that's probably what the VSC was for earlier in the race. Probably what
He
it
said
was.
he also mentioned that Pilot has some real pace, man.
Yeah.
If he's got some real pace, then oof, everybody else got some real pace.
Yeah.
He's down in 11. But to be honest, as a reserve from the Challenger Series, good drive so far. And penalty free.
Oh, yeah. Well, he did have the 5-second speeding in the pits, so...
Oh, right.
Yeah. He'd probably be up in P7 right now if he didn't have that. I'd say P7, P8.
Anna Pratis has mentioned in the YouTube comments, has the season been AlphaTauri against Alfa Romeo for the championship? Somewhat. I think Alfa Romeo is leading it in the constructors. Mercedes is in P2. Lawrence and Beamer, they're both technically reserve drivers, so their points aren't really going to the team. But they've just been picking the AlphaTauris.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that the top 4 is both the same team. It's AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo.
I'll be, when we get to next game, with the Visa Cash App RB team, I'll be naming it the Toro Rosso because it looks like a Toros. And I won my last championship in a Toro Rosso. So I love the Toros. And I will be calling it just that. It's kind of funny, and when we do the next podcast, we'll talk all about the car liveries on the next episode. But it's interesting to me that Red Bull switched from Toro Rosso to AlphaTauri to promote that brand of their own clothing brand. That didn't actually work out, so they had Hugo Boss, which is another clothing company, kind of be more prevalent on the sponsor, but they actually went with Visa Cash App as the title sponsor for the team name. So their actual team name is Visa Cash App RB for Red Bull, but the colors they chose for the car are the Toro Rosso colors. So it's like they try to get away from Toro Rosso, which is just Red Bull in Italian. They went to AlphaTauri, they changed their color look, and then they went back to the same colors, but they have a different name. Very weird. I don't know who's marketing that team, but they're not doing a good job at it.
Give you a mouthful to say every single time you're trying to say the team name too.
Yeah.
Forzan's out here drifting. I don't think he has much left to go for Lawrence. And there's the 3-second time penalty.
And that's it. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell. That's it. Forzan picks up a penalty, and then Lawrence gets one. Lawrence has this one in the bag.
I don't think Lawrence is a single warning. I checked through the race director. I didn't see him once.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're on lap 31, about to be 32 of 35, and it's been a relatively calm Canadian Grand Prix, especially for a 3-tire special, but a lot of respect out there. And the window of a safety car is rapidly closing, if not already closed. A lot different than what I expected for 20 drivers. We had 2 retirements in the pit lane. Oh!
3 now.
3. 3 in the pit lane. Right on cue. But overall, very nice from all the drivers here. So everybody, if you're re-watching this, give yourself a nice pat on the back. For a street circuit, or I like to say more of like a park circuit.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
This is going to be major Season 16 Brazil Platinum class finale vibes are here. Just clean racing all around.
Yeah.
Not a single safety car.
Nothing wrong with that either. I'm not complaining. Makes our job a little easier.
Yeah.
And it goes quicker too, so.
Still is a pretty large battle for P7 though, I've seen.
Yep. Remsley, 20th to 7th. He had a disconnection throughout the race as well, but he's been very quick. Beamer on silent. Silent will try and get him back. This is for the podium spot. P3 in that. Another one in the pits. Another one bites the dust, Kluka.
Yep.
Another one gone, another one gone. Another one back to dust.
There is a question, though, where Remsley would be right now if he didn't get disconnected, since he was out the race for, I'd say, a good 3-4 laps.
I think he'd be... Well, he's right with his teammate again, so... I think he'd be definitely ahead of GT, maybe where KD would be for top 5. I'd probably have Remsley on a top 5 if he didn't disconnect. Because he really gained a lot on the first lap. He went from 20th to like 15th, grabbed a lot on the opening lap, and then from there just kind of had the speed and kept picking drivers off, which is very hard to do when you're going through a DRS train, which right now it's calmed down to, you know, only a few drivers here and there, but at the beginning of the race we had a huge train. He was able to get past it too.
Especially at this track, too. Track's so tight everywhere. It's all chicanes.
And this is one of those tracks, too. You got the double DRS zone. So if you have the detection zone into the hairpin, you're going to get it on this straight and the front straightaway. So it does make it a little bit easier because you do have the double DRS and the double straights.
Yeah, I don't think Rims is going to pass GTR line right here. I don't think he'll try to do that. He has a time penalty, so I don't see a reason to pass him.
And he had the DRS closed, too, so he's just kind of laying guard for his teammate, which is probably the right thing to do in this situation. Keep GT up there, kind of to make sure Remsley can hold the spot. But if they really wanted to work as a team, they'd probably let Remsley lead because GT has no time penalties. So maybe GT should be the one defending to hold off Rockstar and everybody else. But, you know, these two scored the most amount of points as a constructor in TCR's history, winning the Constructors last season in the Golden Class. So I'll kind of leave it up to them because they know how to score points in a season. And I think you'll see GT went a little bit deep. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but they're going to switch positions here.
Sees Rockstar going for the overtake. He is. Ooh, that's risky. He'll do it.
Oh, he taps the wall, too. So we're on the final lap of the race here, and Lawrence is almost done with the lap as these drivers are just starting it. We'll keep an eye on the battle for 6th, but for the time being, I'm going to go back up front for Lawrence, who had pole position, and he's going to go through the final corner, and he will grab his first win of the season after 2 runner-up finishes to start the season. Lawrence wins here in the Canadian Grand Prix at the 3-tire special, and he beats Forzan after getting maximum points out of the first 2 rounds. He'll finish runner-up, and his teammate Silent holds on to P3 over Beamer to get his first podium of the season. So we'll be talking to him in just a few moments. KD, solid P5, and it is Remsley, Rockstar, and GT getting the overtake of Rockstar on the straight. Little weave there, maybe say good job. I don't know what that was. Maybe a little wave, you know. Good battling all throughout. GT gets 6th, Remsley, Rockstar. Pilot to the line. Great reserve by Pilot.
Oh, and Remsley.
That's
I think got a little glitch.
Yeah. So Professionals should have P10. Camden just misses out 11th. And got F&D, Jose, Raikkonen, Sir Charles, and Giggle. You only have Dirt Shark, Whispered, Nerd, and Zionical, who had some DNFs. So, round of applause for the Elite Series because we did not have one safety car. We had a VSC. And no DNFs out on track, all in the pit lane. And I didn't even see a lot of debris on the opening lap. Not many front wings.
There wasn't at all.
I mean,
I think I only saw one getting repaired all race, and that was Professional.
Very good by everybody.
Sir Charles is just crawling around here without fuel.
Oh, is he out of fuel? Aw.
Yeah.
I've done that once or twice. Alright, so we're going to try and get these interviews started quite quickly. If anybody has any questions, you can leave that in the comments down below. Other than that, Zynagle said he got the rear wing damage on lap 1, so he said it wasn't too bad, but he must have got hit by somebody. But there you have it. Forzan did pick up the fastest lap, so he does get an extra point there, but those are the results. And we're going to start getting going right away. P3, it was Silent, gets his first podium after not having the best first 2 rounds. Welcome to a podium, and yeah, how's it feel? Hello.
Oh, that chase in the last 10 laps or whatever. Once I put the softs on, it hit like I don't know how, like it just hit so good. Like shoot me up a couple more times with those last 10 laps.
Like
felt so good to chase him down.
A little bit of warm butter on some bread, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little a white toast, a little butter, maybe extra butter, and then maybe some strawberry or grape jelly.
Woo! Now we're talking.
Exactly.
How'd the pace feel overall compared to the top 2? They were kind of long gone, but kind of surprising. The race went green. Do you think you would have had more of a pace, more of a shot towards the end if you were able to start back right behind them? Because you did start on the hard tire, so that maybe set you back a little bit. Because it allowed Lawrence to kind of get the jump.
No, I mean I don't really think it was an issue with the tires or anything. I just for some reason like tonight was the worst in terms of network. Like everybody in the chat's talking about it, and just like I didn't know where Beamer was going in front of me or where Lawrence was sometimes, and it was just terrible to try and race like that. So I was kind of hesitant. I couldn't like when I practiced and did some laps by myself, I felt fine and the car felt good. And when I did have clean air tonight in the race, the car felt great. Everything felt fine. But once I got close to another car, I had to hesitate because I didn't want to like hit anybody or like. On my screen, I might not hit them, but for their screen, it's like I've tapped them or something, and I don't, I just don't want to do that, so I was hesitating the whole time I was driving, which really sucked.
All right, and Kluka, any questions for Silent?
Not really. I don't think I got anything.
No questions. All right. Any other comments, Silent? Anything you'd like to add?
I think if the network issues weren't so huge tonight, I think I could have actually challenged for better than where I was at. But I was really tied up tonight, so I just did what I could. Everybody on my screen would either go straight on the corner or just I would get scared to if under a braking zone or whatever, if I would hit them or lose my wing. So like I said, I felt like I could have done better than P3, but. I had fun in the end. That's what matters. The last 10 laps were, like I said, they hit like no other race. The only race I do remember that hit like this was probably Spain last season when I was trying to keep B-Tom out of my DRS for the last couple of laps. So yeah, these are probably like the top 2 most recent races that really like hit you good.
Yeah, those stints where you're always chasing down at the end on the soft, quick tires are usually fun, especially when it's for a podium. So good drive. Nice to see you back up there after starting rough first 2 rounds, but now they had that cushion. you're really right back into it with a nice podium. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. So good luck next week. We are at Qatar.
All right, sweet.
All right, we will move to runner-up of Alfa Romeo of Forzan. First time this season. Picked up the fastest lap. Yeah, I guess you can't win them all, but you were quick. Just not quick enough for Lawrence right there at the end. What else did you need to get past them?
I mean, I basically lost the race during the VSC when Lawrence somehow gained 2 seconds when it was over. Because that time was what cost me the DRS on the second and third stint. And I just had my setup was way too unbalanced. I didn't have any rear grip at all, so without that DRS, I just couldn't keep the pace. But maybe if I would have had the DRS, I might have been able to follow him. Because since I lost that, I had to overdrive the car and overdrive the tires, so I was wearing them out, overheating them, and then, I was just sliding everywhere. So, I mean, good driving from Lawrence is just a shame, but, stuff like that happen where you can gain time from the VSC, but I don't know how it happened, but we move on. Like you said, I can't win them all.
We saw during qualifying you got blocked by Pilot in one of your laps. He left us.
Okay, then.
And we're back.
He's back. He's back.
Welcome back. We got a copy for Zan.
So, sorry, my Discord crashed. What were you saying, Seafreeze?
I was saying that during qualifying you got blocked by Pilot on one of your laps. Did that hinder you? I mean, you still got up there in quali, but do you think you would have had a pole if that did not happen, or did not impact you really?
I mean, it impacted me quite a bit because I only had I was going for 3 laps and I only had one lap before my final lap to check how the grip were in the final corner. So on my final lap, I just oversent it and hit the curbs a bit too hard, so I was sliding. But yeah, I don't think I could have beaten Lawrence for the pole today.
All right, Kluka, any questions for Forzan?
Yeah, I got one. What happened in the start? It seemed like you got off the grid pretty slow.
Yeah, I was just on the hards.
Yeah.
Either that or there were, because adding on to what Silent said, the network was just absolutely trash tonight. Absolutely horrible. We had issues last week as well. But yeah, no, so I don't know, it might have been the classic glitch of the F1 games where lights out go out for the other people before me, a tiny bit, I don't know. But I assume that it was just me starting on the hards.
All right. And any other comments for Zan before we go to our winner?
No, yeah. That win is coming back next week.
Qatar, you feel good?
Yep.
All right, well, there you have it. Forzan's
I'm going to
next week.
my last season's mistake.
All right, well, good result, and hopefully, we'll see you next week. And we will move to the AlphaTauri of Lawrence, getting it done for the first time in Season 17. Congrats on the win. You finally got it after first 2 runner-ups. And, yeah, it was a really nice, pretty dominant performance. At times, Forzan was keeping you honest on the lap times, and by no stretch of the imagination were those lap times, whatever you were doing was easy, because it looks like you really did have to work for it pace-wise, but you did everything right, so it must feel good to get the win.
I'm pretty happy with that. Today, I am not too old for this game. Today, I'm not. I'm really happy with that. I think I had a breakthrough on how to get the balance in the race right. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the start of good things. Maybe it's a false dawn. But I think I made something on setup that helped me with the old tire phase, especially the understeer phase on the old tire. That was very evident. I just felt like I had something more when the tires started to go away, and that was huge for me. I mean, I was very fortunate in the start. I thought, we were talking about the race start, I thought you had, like, the lights were going out at different points for people. I genuinely thought that's what happened, and I just got fortunate on the lights. But I had the gap early on with the soft, and that's what I was talking about with the old tire phase. I felt really good with that. I was able to keep pace versus the hards on my soft, and that was huge. Probably went a lap too long on the soft, for all honesty, but man, I'm happy with that. It's been tough to get pace like that on race trim, and today I think I had that for once, so I'm really happy with that.
Nice. And any problems out there, or was it smooth sailing? Any moments? I always like to ask.
Well, of course. Yeah, that was keeping me honest the whole way. Especially was keeping about 2-3 seconds. If I slip up, he's going to be right there, and he's always. You've seen the pace he's had the last 2 weeks. He's been very, very strong. So it's just for me, just trying to keep that pressure under wraps. And I think a lot of it went away when he had the penalty with a few laps to go, and we caught some of the tail end of the field and got DRS, and that's what I felt like I had this. I finally will have this race today. That I was really, I don't know. It's been tough. It's been tough those last 2 weeks. So I'm happy to get one.
Absolutely. And Kluka, any questions for Lawrence?
I don't have anything. You covered everything.
All right. It was kind of, I guess, clean and boring from your perspective, so we don't have much to talk about.
Oh, I'm not going to complain. I am not going to complain about clean and boring. Believe you me.
And I will say, I will take a pole position I wouldn't say it was a runaway race because it was only two seconds plus the penalty that Forza ended up getting, but I will take those boring, clean race wins any day of the week.
Yeah, of course. A win is a win.
Absolutely. Put it in the book.
Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. I think that's going to do it here for tonight. Lawrence is your man of the hour, wins here in the Canadian Grand Prix. Next week, we are at Qatar, Tuesday and Wednesday, same time, same place. Tomorrow, Thursday, we do have the iRacing Super Formula Series. We're at Monza. It won't be streamed on the TCR channel, but if you're in our Discord, you can ask for those who might be personally live streaming it or asking for footage post-race. If you want to kind of tune in there until we try and get that situated with some commentary. Other than that, next week we're at Qatar. Podcast will be out next week. We'll get back to that return. You can check the description for more information. You go to the website. You can still sign up for whatever you want. You sign up, join our Discord at Trinity Racing on all the socials. Thanks, Kluka, for saving the day and getting in here for the CoCom spot. I appreciate it. You did a great job.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been a pleasure. From Kluka to Mike.